Hi team, great to see you. So today we're going to talk about the law of demand. Now, demand is a really important part of our microeconomic understanding, our understanding of classical thinking in economics. It is half of our market model. So therefore we need to spend a bit of time just thinking about how demand actually works. Remember, our market model is going to be consumers, the demand side, and producers, the supply side, and they're going to come together, but we're going to get to that. The consumers and the demand side is what we start with because it's us, right? It's what we understand first off, okay? So when we think about demand, when we think about the law of demand and how that all works, we need to understand in IB the concept of utility, all right? That idea of satisfaction, because our demand, here it is, demand is based on our wants plus the ability that we have to buy a good or a service. Now, it turns out that that idea of wants is really close to our idea of utility, right? Satisfaction, our desire for a particular product. The ability side is how much or how able we are with our income and based on the prices of the good to be able to afford to buy that particular good or service, okay? So when we had our consumer stock point, you remember our consumer stock point? Because we had the law of diminishing marginal utility, okay? It said that as we consumed more and more of a particular good or service, the additional or marginal satisfaction, utility, we received would actually decrease, okay? Assuming we're behaving rationally, we would eventually reach a stop point. And that stop point, the optimal purchase rule, says we stop where the price equals the level of marginal utility we receive. That extra satisfaction, we're going to stop consuming at that point. If we were to consume beyond that point, that means that we would be paying a higher price, but getting less satisfaction. So rationally, that doesn't really work. If we look at it from the other side, where we are maybe the price is a bit cheaper, all right? And from that point of view, we're actually gaining more satisfaction than we are paying for it. We're getting a bargain. So we are going to want to increase consumption from that point of view. So what we see then with regards to demand, all right, that the optimal purchase rule says that we're going to stop purchasing where P equals MU. So the price and quantity demanded relationship that we need to have exists within that idea, that framework of the law of diminishing marginal utility. We're looking at the relationship between price, quantity demanded. We know it's a negative relationship. We're familiar with that. That's what happens in everyday life. The price of a good goes up, quantity demanded should decrease. Again, holding rationality and classical thinking into account. So with that, we can then say if we were to test this relationship again and again and again in different situations, we might turn it into a law. There's like that empirical understanding that this then could become a law. But in order for it to be a law, we need to isolate the price and the quantity. We need to make sure there's no outside influence happening that will prevent that relationship from working the way we think and predict it will. So we're worried about, whether income levels change or whether the season changes and that affects people's quantity demanded, or whether something as simple as tastes, preferences, fashions, or marketing, whether any of that changes and influences our quantities that we demand of whatever the good or service it is, okay? And if that's the case, then, well, what we're going to see is that it isn't a law. The relationship doesn't work. It's not predictable. So we need to make it predictable because our model relies on the law of demand. It relies on that demand curve, right, in order to work. So in order for it to be a law, we've got to add in that Latin phrase, ceteris paribus, which holds it, that protects the price and the quantity demanded from any other outside influence. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the law of demand, how it connects to the idea of utility, how it connects to the law of diminishing marginal utility, and it is a fundamental part of microeconomics, our understanding of the market model, and from where we're going to build, okay? So we're going to start exploring the market model. We're going to start saying classical thinkers think that the market model is perfect. Is it really? Does it take into account everything we think it takes into account? And if not, how could the government fix those particular problems. We're going to look at all of that in the next little while. Otherwise, please remember, like and subscribe. It helps with the algorithm, and we'll see you on the next one. He koinera, have a fantastic day. Bye.